Stamping friends, it's Sherry Parker coming to you live on Wednesday, October 8th. Happy October. Fall is in full gear. There's so much going on with Halloween and fall festivals and everything, but it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I did want to focus on that tonight because it's something near and dear to my heart. And I hope you like the projects that we make tonight. We're going to be using this Love and Courage stamp set. So this is online, and for each stamp set that's purchased, $3 is donated to breast cancer awareness. So not only can you make lovely projects with it, but it's also helping a great cause. So just wanted to mention that, and I think you'll like the cards that we're making tonight. All right, so a couple quick things. So I don't know if you heard about the Traditions of Christmas class. It's coming up on October 23rd. It's something that Stampin' Up! Is actually hosting virtually. And you order the class, you can go to my website at sherrythomas.stampinup.net, order the class and then the supplies, and you can follow along, but it will be recorded so you can watch it later if you can't watch it live. So this is something new, so something fun to try. Hi, Sheila. And then also, I'm having my monthly card classes, and October's filled up, but November 20th, I've got another one coming up. So if you're interested, let me know. It's $10, and you make 3 projects. No obligation to purchase anything, but if you would like to make a purchase, then I will give you a gift to basically give you your $10 back. So kind of fun. All right, I'm gonna turn my camera over now, and we'll get started on tonight's breast cancer awareness projects. Hi, Felicia. Hi, Kelly. So glad all of you could join. So this Love and Courage that I knew from the second I saw this that I had to have it, not only because it has a great, $3 goes to breast cancer awareness, but there's just also some really pretty stamps in here that don't have to necessarily be for breast cancer awareness. So love the stamp set. And then we're using that tonight. And in addition, we'll be using the really cute Everyday Arches dies. Love those. Also the 3D sunflower embossing folder. I've used this before, so I do think you'll like that. And then we're going to be using our two-tone paper. So this is the Strawberry Slush two-tone paper. So the cool thing about this paper is that, hey Kelly, it's printed, so it's the Strawberry Slush color printed on one side and then a slightly lighter version on the other side. And the interior is white since it's printed. So you can do some kind of fun things with this paper. So I will show you that, and it's not quite so heavy as cardstock. So sometimes that's nice when you're doing layering on scrapbook pages or cards. So what are we making tonight? We are gonna make 3 cards using this stamp set that I think, right now there's a coworker who's undergoing breast cancer treatment and everything. And so we're all, sending cards and everything. And how fun is it to send a really unique card to someone just to let them know that you're thinking about them during this difficult time. So these are the 3 cards we're making. Very simple to put together, a little bit different take on different pieces and parts. So we'll get started, and I will first show you this card here. Hi, Joyce. So very simple in terms of materials. You have a half sheet of cardstock for your base. So that's just the white. And then we've got a quarter sheet, 4 by 5 1/4. And this is the two-tone cardstock. So we're gonna actually use the lighter side. And I went ahead and I embossed it with that 3D embossing folder. So just to have that done in advance. And then the other part that we will be using is this nice shape from the Everyday Arches. Hey, Karen. So that's really it in terms of supplies for this card. Pretty simple. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna show you with the two-tone cardstock, I'm gonna put this green behind it so you can see it a little bit better. But because the interior of it is white, you can take like a piece of sandpaper, this is a sanding block, and you can just lightly rub over top. And you see how the accents come up, and so you have a nice white accent. So I really like how this looks. And of course, all of the papers that are the two-tone, you could do this with. I just happen to picked this pink for these breast cancer cards that we're making tonight. So you could, you could do a little bit more if you wanted. So that is the lighter side, and then I have an example of the darker side. So did the same technique on this side. And isn't that a really pretty effect and very simple? You saw how easy that was to do. So that is the base of our card. We'll go ahead and adhere that to our card front. And really any 3D embossing folder would work. I just think the sunflower pairs so nicely with the stamp set, so we're gonna use that one. On our shape here, we're gonna stamp the sunflower. It's half sunflower and half words. Really nice words that give, encouragement to somebody who might be going through a cancer treatment. I'm gonna ink this up with the Pretty in Pink ink pad. And before I actually stamp it, I'm gonna do one fun little extra thing. So right here, here's the card where I just stamped it in the Pretty in Pink. Really pretty, right? But if you want to step it up just a little bit, you can take one of our little sponge daubers here, and I've got the Strawberry Slush ink. So this is that little bit darker pink, and I'm just gonna put my dauber in there and then lightly tap where the center of the flower is, and that'll just give it a little bit of dimension. You don't have to do this, but if you want to give it just a little bit more, you can do that. So isn't that pretty? Because it gives it just a little bit of differentiation there. Okay, and then the last thing I'll do is stamp one of the words from the set, Hope, and we'll put that below like that, and tie some of the coordinating Strawberry Slush ribbon around here. You could do, if you wanted, you could do like the cancer, the pretty pink ribbon, or you can tie it around. I'm gonna just tie this one. So you could get creative and do really anything. It'd be really pretty. So that's really it for this card. Very simple. Cut our ends. And then we'll just use some Stampin' Dimensionals here. It's a little bit lopsided there. I'll probably use 4 of these for this bigger piece. And then take the backs off. And there you go. And then if you want, I always like to have a little something on the inside. This nice ribbon comes with the stamp set, and I'm gonna put a little pink ribbon on the inside. There are some other greetings that come with it as well, so you could certainly stamp a greeting or just write a message or what have you. So what do you think? I think that's really a very simple, elegant card. And remember, anyone who comments on or shares my Facebook Live videos, you will have an opportunity to win the cards that I make every week. And at the end of this video, we will be drawing for last week's cards. So there's card number 1. Very simple and pretty. All right, we're gonna move on to our second card, and it's similar. We're using the same kind of supplies, but we're gonna use our two-tone paper in a slightly different way, and I'll show you how. So our card base is Pretty in Pink. I folded it lengthwise here, and so that's gonna be our card base. And then I've got a 1/4 sheet of white that measures 4 by 5 1/4, and then I have, these are, I think, Spotlight on Nature dies, and so I've cut the bigger one in the Strawberry Slush, and then the white one is slightly smaller. So for this card, we're going to stamp the one stamp, thanks Felicia, using the Strawberry Slush. So this time I won't do the two-tone ink for our sunflower. I just used the Strawberry Slush. So it's a little bit bolder and darker. And then that'll layer and coordinate with the one behind it. So we will put that over top like that. And so that will be our focal point. For the card base, what I did is I kind of created my own background, and it's really simple to do. I took the little ribbon and I'm just doing pink ribbons very randomly and creating like my own background paper. Okay, so of course I got a little bit on here, so we'll just pick that up. And then on the left hand side, I've got a piece of that two-tone paper here, and I'm going to tear. So not everyone likes to tear, but we're gonna do a little bit of tearing, and we're gonna just tear, because the cool thing is you get this nice white behind it. And then on this one, the reverse side, I've got the same with the lighter pink. So that'll make a really nice looking border or edge to our card. So I like to do this. It's a very simple accent to a card, and I think it really is a great background. So we'll put that on the front piece here, and then we'll layer this. Now before we actually glue it down, I will take this wonderful ribbon again and put a little strip of it behind or underneath here. Oops, it didn't stay. And just like that. And then we'll glue it onto our, thanks Sheila, card front. Okay. And then all we have to do is assemble. So we'll put some more Stampin' Dimensionals. Probably could use 3 for this large shape here. And kind of tuck it away up there. This is actually a vertical opening card. And then I'm gonna tie, this is like what I call a cheater bow. So we're not using quite so much ribbon, but you can just tie a little knot on the front here. And it does help preserve your ribbon a little bit better. So there is that one. And the last touch on this one is I'm going to add some bling. And I love to take our rhinestones. You can tell I've used these to death. And I colored some with my Stampin' Blend marker. These are alcohol-based markers, so you can make your silver rhinestones any color that you want. I colored some pink, so this is with the strawberry slush, so this will match our papers and inks. And there you go. Very easy to do. So 2 different ways to use your two-tone paper. So we did the sanding, we did tearing, and another cool technique, I'm not using it tonight, but it's you can crumble it. So you can actually like crumble it in your hands and then flatten it out, and it makes a nice, really interesting background too. So, okay, last card for tonight. We're going to be making this one here. So we're not using the sunflower stamp. We're using some of the other stamps. We're going back to that sunflower embossing folder as well. So for this card, I've got a piece of strawberry slush. This is my base. And then on the inside, I've just got a piece of white here that, this is a darker color, and I always like to have a lighter color on the inside so I can write. And then for the card base, I'm gonna do some layers. This is the two-tone cardstock. So you'll notice that the lighter strawberry slush kind of is an intermediate color between strawberry slush and pretty in pink. So again, you get more mileage and you get more colors just by changing the side. So for this one, we're simply taping it down, just using that lighter side like that. And then I showed you the sunflower, and a couple weeks ago, you might remember if you were watching, I made some cards where we use the reverse emboss, deboss, and everything. We made some different cards, similar colors as what we're using tonight. So we're gonna use a very similar technique where we're gonna take our ink pad. This time we're gonna use pink. I'm gonna bring my little green piece of paper here. And on the deboss side, I'm gonna take my ink pad and I'm simply going to rub it. I'm dropping everything over the front of my card. And it makes a really pretty look. So you can see I've already got my background and what we'll do now is just use that for the base of our card. And you could go heavier if you wanted. I went a little bit heavy on that. It might be a little bit darker than I wanted, but it will dry slightly lighter. So we will go ahead and put that on our card front. And there's the base of our card. So for the accent piece, I cut with the everyday arches, I cut a small one and then a slightly larger one with the pretty in pink. And for this one, I'm gonna create a little background using this ribbon. You could use Strawberry Slush, you could use Pretty in Pink, whatever you wanted. This one's a little bit darker than my other sample, but it's just really for the background. So, and then for the front here, instead of using the sunflower, I'm gonna use the ribbon, and with the Pretty in Pink ink, I'm gonna stamp the ribbon on the top. And then there's a heart that comes in that stamp also, that set, so I'll stamp that at the bottom. And that will be the base of our card. So we will go ahead and adhere that to the other pink piece. And then one other fun little thing if you want, I always like to add a little bit of sparkle. So I'm gonna use my Wink of Stella and color these in. And it's a very subtle way of giving some sparkle to your projects. So now all we have to do is assemble that. We will use some dimensionals. And this just is a nice, layered, textured, pretty card. Very pink. If you're not a pink person, you can use different colors. So last step is for the greeting on this one of the word sets that comes with this is, friends don't let friends fight cancer alone. I thought that was a really nice greeting, and I'm gonna stamp that on this white piece here. This measures like 1 by 3 1/4. And then you could really use either side. I'm gonna use the darker side to give it a little bit of contrast. And then last but not least, I'm gonna punch a hole here and tie a knot with my Strawberry Slush ribbon. I love this ribbon. This is the In Color ribbon this year. So it comes in the 5 in colors. It's so pretty and it lays so nice on your projects. It'll flatten out pretty nicely. So I love that. All right, so we tie a knot on there, kind of make a tag, and then trim off our edges. Looks like I have a rogue rhinestone. Why don't we just stick that on our project? Why not? Nope, I guess it doesn't have adhesive on it. But we can add it at the end with some glue. All right, and then last but not least, put some Stampin' Dimensionals. So this has a lot of depth, this card, which I love that. And we're going to stamp a little ribbon on the inside. So I just think it's a really, really nice way to let someone know you're thinking of them. And maybe, you know, we know people with cancer, right? Maybe not breast cancer, but other cancers. And there's an entire, I would say every color you can imagine represents something when it comes to fighting cancer. So I did look up some, and I made really the same card, and I just kind of substituted some different colors. So I wanted to show you that the stamp set, so purple is pancreatic cancer. I think it might also stand for some others. Red, blood cancers. So there's a lot of different combinations that you could do to let anyone who might be undergoing cancer treatment know that you're thinking about them. So I just wanted to show that, you know, you're not necessarily limited to making pink breast cancer cards, that there's other things you can do with the same stamp set. So anyone who's going through any difficult time would love to have their day brightened by just this nice, pretty card. So anyway, so those are our cards tonight. And again, make sure you comment on or share, and you might be the winner of one of these cards. Okay, that being said, last week we made some fall cards because it is fall after all. We made these 2 cards, and really the gathering moments, the designer series paper and the dies, just really pretty, nice, like big leaves, big fall cards. So we are going to draw for these 2 cards. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Felicia. I appreciate that. So I've got all the names in here from everyone who commented on and shared last week. And this first one is going to go to Sharon Tree. And the second one to Ronnie Petru. So thank you guys so much for watching every week. I do appreciate it, and it's always fun to hear, you know, what you think and what you're making. So if you decide to make any cards using any of the techniques or the supplies that we used tonight, I'd love to see them. So thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your week and enjoy fall. Take care. Bye.